Mike, good to see you. How you doing, brother? You're the first one in. Good evening. Pure, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening. Pablo, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? How's everyone doing today? How's your day? Good, bad, or just starting out? Depending on where you are around the world. Manny, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening. Today we have a lot of news to cover. Tor, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening. How you been? What's up, Miles of CMF? Max, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Solo, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles. Is Ton safe to buy? It's a project that's been really investigated right now, to be fairly honest. So level. It's a project that's been investigated. Not the project itself has been investigated, but the founder of Telegram. But it's in my opinion, it's a brilliant project regarding Ton's ecosystem. Even Miles of CMF, Joe, good to see you. How you doing? Hi, Miles of CMF. Hope you had a great day. Let's go, Stormy. How you doing? How you been? Camel, good to see you, brother. How you doing? All good. Let's go, Mike. Hi, Miles. G, good to see you. How you doing? Miles, when will the adopting of XRP begin? 3 green lights. That still hasn't changed. Hi, Miles of CMF. Dennis, good to see you. How you doing? Troy, hi, Miles of family. Good to see you. How you doing? Hi, Miles of CMF. George, good to see you. How you doing? Morning, Shelly. Good to see you. How you doing? Hello, Miles of CMF. Glenda, good to see you. How you doing? Good evening, Miles of CMF. Callie, good to see you. How you doing? By the way, thank you so much to everyone that's been retweeting this live show right now on X. And we get notifications back to back. Thanks so much to everyone that's been retweeting this live show on X and liking this live show. I'm putting comments on the live, outside the live as well. Thanks so much to everyone on YouTube who's also liking this live show as well. So today we have a mixture of news to go through. I'll give you a gist, a rundown of what we're going to go through. So, on tonight's live show, we are going to go through these essentially news topics. We're going to go through the UK legislations. The UK has essentially clarified some legislations for cryptocurrencies, so we're going to go through that. We're also going to talk about on tonight's live show regarding the MiCA regulations as well. We're going to talk about the Fed interest rates as well. We're also going to go through the topic regarding donations headed towards John Deaton for his campaign. We're going to talk about China's yuan on tonight's live show as well, how it's doing excellent, apparently, according to the numbers. We're also going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Grayscale, how Grayscale has just opened its doors to a Subi Trust for accredited investors. We're also going to go through the news topic of Singapore on tonight's live show as well, how Singapore is leading with the $1 billion of stablecoin transactions aimed at global push. Singapore is doing absolutely immense work. We're also going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Ford and Toyota. A while ago on this live show, I revealed that Ford and Toyota, well, Toyota in general, is working towards this blockchain project of theirs. There's a lot of companies out there that's essentially, like Sony, for example, going into Sonium, their crypto project, or Samsung also creating their own blockchain. And then Toyota, a while ago, I revealed that they're creating their own blockchain as well. Now Ford is also going to be creating their own blockchain as well. Blockchain in essentially the automotive industry is about to be collaborating together quite a lot. We're going to go through the news topic of the top 20 countries on tonight's live show. We're going to go through the top 20 countries of how far they've advanced so far this year, particularly in terms of blockchain innovation, Web3 innovation, policies, regulations, contracts, everything. We're also going to go through on tonight's live show regarding crypto, essentially keeping your crypto assets safe on your smartphone devices. For example, McAfee, one of the biggest antivirus companies in the world, has decided to essentially declare something to the crypto space, mostly the retail section, on how to keep their assets safe. There's quite a lot of new viruses going about, and McAfee has decided to alert everyone about these new viruses and scams. We're also going to talk about Sony on tonight's live show as well, their project Sonium. Something major has just happened with them. We're also going to talk about Deutsche Bank on tonight's live show as well. They're essentially warning everybody about potential things that could happen inside the market space, which I'll give you a rundown on. We're also going to talk about Congress on tonight's live show as well, because a while ago I also revealed that Congress is going to be having 3 crypto-related meetings. One of them was yesterday. So today we're going to go through what was discussed yesterday. Everybody yesterday was focused on Trump versus Kamala, just as I was. But yesterday was also when the first meeting was taking place of talking about DeFi with the US House of Commons. So it's quite impressive of things that they talked about. Where do they stand? Which party stands on which essential legislation policy for DeFi space? The second meeting is coming up on the 17th, but we're going to go through what was discussed yesterday regarding the US House Congress on the topic of DeFi, which was discussed essentially. We're also going to go through on tonight's live show regarding the matters of Ripple on tonight's live show as well. That Ripple has pretty much partnered with the Digital Euro Association for the Euro CBDC. Ripple has just become a part of the Euro CBDC. We're also going to talk about tonight's live show regarding the UAE and the UAE RAK Bank that's just went live with CBDCs for be able to do domestic and international payments. RAK Bank is also a partner of Ripple since 2017. So mixture of news to go for tonight's live show. But before we go through any of that news, let's go inside before we go through any of that news, welcome to the CMF Live Show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, welcome to the CMF Live Show. It stands for Crypto Mouse Family, and on this live show every single night you can tune in on YouTube or X Live, as if you're watching on X Live right now. This is episode 153 of the CMF Live Show. I talk about the most recent things that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, politics, and regulations. Also, the disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. And we also do Q&As on this live show as well. So if you have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So once again, welcome if you are new, and if you're regular, let's go CMF. Once again, thanks so much to everyone that's been liking and retweeting this live show on X and liking this live show on YouTube as well. But we're going to go through the first news regarding the UK legislations first before we go into the US legislations, Singapore legislations, UAE legislations, India legislations. Quite a lot of policy legislation news has come out today. But we're going to go for the UK one first. But before we go through that, let me just go quickly inside the comment section first. Boy, you look like you're washing your... Okay, I mean, there's one idiot inside the comment section. Let me just get rid of him. He's got rid of him. Okay, good evening. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Hope you had a great lucrative date. Let's go for you forever. How you doing? How you been? Good evening, Miles and family. Good to see you as well, Frank. Weather, how you doing? Have I missed anything? No, perfect title. About to go through the first news. So, UK proposes legislations to classify cryptocurrencies as personal property. So the UK has essentially passed some sort of a law regarding cryptocurrencies, regarding NFTs, regarding tokenized assets, quite a list of essentially products to do with the blockchain space. Welcome everybody. It's JP, good to see you as well. How you doing? So, in a significant move, the UK government has introduced a bill that aims to officially classify cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and tokenized assets as personal property. This bill marks a crucial step in establishing a clear legal framework for digital assets in the country. The newly proposed legislation, which has been presented in Parliament, seeks to provide a well-defined legal status for those assets, offering enhanced legal protection to holders of cryptocurrencies. A press release issued by the UK government underscores the importance of this legislation in providing a greater legal safeguards for cryptocurrency investors. The bill is viewed as a significant first of the UK positioning the country as a leader in global technology sector. It also aligns with the nation's broader efforts to stay ahead of the rapidly evolving financial digital landscape. UK bill aims to define cryptocurrencies as personal property. In recent years, the digital asset sector has experienced substantial growth, with an increasing number of countries adapting and integrating cryptocurrencies into the financial system. However, this rapid expansion has also created the need for governments to establish clear regulatory frameworks to govern the use of ownerships of these assets. The introduction of this bill by the UK government is a direct response to the growing demand for regulations, as it seeks to define cryptocurrencies as personal property and ensure that investors receive proper legal protection. The legislation is designed to enhance the legal security of investors involved in digital finance space, offering a strong foundation for addressing issues related to ownership and potential disputes. With this clarification provided by the bill, cryptocurrency holders will benefit from more comprehensive legal protections inside the United Kingdom, which could safeguard them from against fraudulent activities and other risks associated with digital assets. The legal impact of the UK bill on cryptocurrencies. One of the key features of this bill in its efforts to categorize cryptocurrencies under a new legal framework for personal property, especially introduces the concept of things in possession and things in action under this new categorization. Cryptocurrencies, along with vehicles and funds, will be classified as personal property. Additionally, assets like shares, debt, and other digital assets will be included under the things in action classification. This classification is expected to provide much needed guidance on how cryptocurrencies and similar assets should be treated in legal contexts. The bill aims to ensure that individuals who hold or trade these assets are protected under the UK law, making it easier to resolve disputes or address fraudulent activities. Furthermore, by formally recognizing cryptocurrencies as personal property, the UK government is taking steps to promote the responsible use of ownership of these assets within the country, strengthening investment protections and enhancing legal clarity. The introduction of the bill represents a proactive approach by the UK government to regulate the digital finance sector and offer a greater security for investors. As cryptocurrencies continue to grow in the popularity and more individuals engage with digital finance options, it's essential for the UK government to provide clearer legal guidelines to protect these involved. This bill is seen as an important step in achieving that goal, to establish a legal foundation for recognizing and protecting cryptocurrencies as personal property inside the UK. In conclusion, the UK's introduction of this bill highlights the country's commitment to fostering innovation while ensuring the legal security of individuals involved in the rapidly growing digital asset market. The legislation not only clarifies the status of cryptocurrencies, but it also strengthens the legal framework necessary to support the continued growth and adoption of these assets. So it seems like with the UK keep on stating they're going to be opening their doors, they're going to bring regulations, and the UK always wanted to become some sort of a crypto hub. It was always seemed like that the UK was just being left behind, with Singapore taking the ranks, or Hong Kong taking the ranks, or Japan, or the UAE, or Kuwait, or Bahrain. These are the type of countries that are essentially excelling in terms of regulations and policies and contracts and innovation, Web3, AI, blockchain, anything to do with that sector. The UK has just came out of nowhere and introduced a full set of regulations that has been introduced also to the Parliament and is also stated on the UK government website now as well, which means that cryptocurrency is now seen as property, personal property, which means very soon we're going to get taxation laws. Companies are going to be able to operate much more freely inside the United Kingdom because now they have a safety net for essentially legislations and policies that are in place right now. So this is great for innovation inside the United Kingdom. Absolutely amazing that the UK has taken this quick, out of nowhere, essentially announcement of a policy. Adding on top of the UK introducing all of these legislations, the EU, the MiCA regulation is coming soon as well. By that, I don't mean it's coming soon. It already is established. But what I mean is, while the UK is moving forward, the European Union is also strengthening its regulations. The Market in Crypto Assets, MiCA regulation, will take full effect across the whole EU on December 30th. On December 30th is when the MiCA regulations and policies inside the EU will take full effect. It was first published back in June 9, 2023, and officially came into force on June 29, 2023. Now, there's a lot happening with this regulation, and it's set to change how cryptos operate inside the EU. This includes regulations for crypto asset service providers, CASPs, who will need authorization to operate within the EU. CASPs will have an 18-month transition period ending June 30th, 2026 to obtain authorization under MiCA regulations. By 2026, everybody has to be compliant inside the EU. Now, the date can be changed to 2025, which most likely it will be. But by 2026, stated already right now by the MiCA, every crypto company that wants to operate in the EU has to be compliant by then, or the doors are closed forever. This transition applies to companies already operating in France, giving them time to adjust and comply with the new rules. The MiCA introduction of strict rules to prevent market manipulation and abuse. MiCA identifies three main types of crypto assets: assets with reference tokens, e-money tokens, and other crypto assets. Firms like UCITS management companies, AFIM and MFID investment firms can expand their services to include crypto under MiCA, which can open up a lot more of new business opportunities in the EU. The AML and CFT regulations, anti-money laundering and illicit activities, introductions of new rules about customers verifications, identifying beneficial ownerships. The EU also claims that the goal is to tighten controls on crypto transfers and make sure that authorities can track assets more effectively so they're not being used for illicit activities. The regulation also amends regulations of 2015/847/EU, helping to enforce the travel rule, which tracks crypto asset transfers in the EU. Another important change is the amendment to Directive EU 2019/1153, giving national authorities direct access to the bank account registers, interconnection systems, BARIS, to fight serious crimes. The 6th AML directive repels earlier AML-LD at 4 and 5 press time. The global crypto community has dropped slightly in the last 24 hours, bringing the market caps of $1.99 trillion. And investors are anxiously waiting for the Federal Reserve's big meeting that starts on September 17th. The central bank might cut rates, triggering a rally in the crypto markets, which we're about to go through next regarding rate cuts. So that's absolutely amazing news regarding the UK, first of all, bringing this new sets of regulations for crypto assets, for tokenizations, for NFTs. They released a set of regulations that went towards Parliament, is already on the UK government website. And they just came out of nowhere with that, with the entire policy, which opens doors up for essentially companies to come inside the UK and bring some innovation, some blockchain innovation, AI innovation, Web3 innovation inside the United Kingdom, which was missing for a very long time. Amazing news on the UK and amazing news on the EU as well. Now, what we're going to go through next is the Fed's interest rate cuts impact cryptocurrency markets. But before we go through that, we're going to go through the comment section. By the way, this is a live show, which means you get involved inside the comment section. And if you have any questions, go for it. But let's go inside the comment section first before I go through the next news, which is regarding Fed interest rates, which is going to be heavily impacting the credit space as well. And wow, JP has just sent over $500 in donations. JP, thank you so much, brother, for $500 donation. To the CMF hedge fund. That's absolutely amazing. Are you sure, JP? $500 donation. I appreciate a lot to the CMF hedge fund. Thank you so much, JP. I think everybody inside the CMF will be happy about that as well. So JP, thank you, brother, for the CMF donation. Absolutely amazing. Does that mean that second green light on the way? Pretty much is on the way. Correct. Good evening, Miles of CMF. Orphan, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? I guess I'm not first tonight. Does that mean that there will not be any taxes on your profits? There'll be some still. That's big money, JP. You're rich. Evening, Miles and family. Ian, good to see you. How you doing, brother JP? Well done. It seems you have a lot of money. Have you sold your Solana tokens? Share the live. Let's go, Scott. Definitely share the live. What does that mean? They want more taxes? No, it means that we're getting closer. Well, closer to taxation, but closer to innovation is what we need. Closer to payments happening is what we need. Why won't they? I would like to ask everyone, how do you like Trump or Kamala debate? Personally, I like Trump's speech. Personally, I liked Trump's speech as well. I mean, it was 3 versus 1, to be fairly honest, regarding Trump versus Kamala. I saw the whole thing. We were doing comments back and forward inside a Telegram group as well. Why they want tax? They got enough money. Well, tax is just what makes the world spin. Hello, my CMF on YouTube. Share the live. Scott, good to see you on YouTube now. Big countries can't enter early. Brings attention, but 2024 is the year to start. Exactly. Nice one, JP. Definitely. $500 more than my life savings. Dang, JP, let's go. What's up, Miles and CMF? Hope all is well. Ray, good to see you, brother. How you doing? JP, that's my whole crypto portfolio. What you just made it. Hello, Miles and CMF. My apologies for lateness. Lena, good to see you. How you doing? Don't worry about it. Good to see you. All this helps everybody. Let's go, JP. Genuinely does. Any donations that we do get on any live show is pretty much for everyone inside the CMF that's going to be a part of the CMF hedge fund, part of the CMF hedge fund. So any donations go straight into that pot. So yes, with JP donating these big numbers, it's going straight for everybody. So everybody, JP, thank you from everyone inside the CMF for all these donations. When I will see profits from the CMF group, I donate it as well. Hello, Miles and CMF. Mav, good to see you. How you doing? Messi, hi, Miles. Good to see you. How you doing? Hello, Miles and CMF. Carol, good to see you. How you doing? Hit the like. Let's go, Messi. Is it safe to buy a car in the UK with crypto? You can do, yes. And why would it not be safe? Miles knows the whole family too well. Let's go, funky brother. I think Sack brought his soul, Miles. This is all for the CMF. Let's go, JP. When will I see reward from hedge funding? Well, we have to be a part of the hedge funding. So when we get to that stage of me talking about the hedge fund, you will have to join it to become a part of it. Feels like JP is trying to bribe you to get off the fence. Okay, Fed interest rate cuts impact cryptocurrency market. The possibility of Federal Reserve reducing rate cuts is closely monitored inside the cryptocurrency market space. The Consumer Price Index (CPI) for August reported a 0.2%, suggesting a cooling inflation and hints that the Fed might lower rates next week. This scenario could have significant implications for the crypto industry, risk appetite, and crypto investments. 21 Shares research analyst Lena stated that the cooling of annual inflation and in line with the expectations could increase investors' interest in crypto assets. If the Fed reduces interest rates, it could inject more liquidity inside the market space. The argument has always been, if we have interest rates, is it good for the crypto space or is it bad for the crypto space? Is what everybody wants to know about. If the Fed does rate cuts, is it good or bad for the crypto space? It could play out both ways because it depends on how big of a rate cut we're going to be having. Now, if we're going to be having, easing rate cuts, then this could be good for the crypto space. But if we go through heavy rate cuts, then it could lead to a recession, which means nobody has any money to spend on any sort of market space. So if the Fed reduces interest rates, it could inject more liquidity inside the market space. John McCain, the founder of investment firm, mentioned that the Fed has room to lower rates without destabilizing the economy. McCain added that the Fed can cut 200 basis points from current rates and still be historically neutral. Lower interest rates generally leads to investors to take more risk, potentially increasing demand for crypto assets. However, the market's reactions will depend on the magnitude of the cut, as I said, and the Fed's future monetary policy signals, which is pretty much on the money. It generally does depend on how big of a rate cut we will have, of how the market will play out. If we have small rate cuts, multitude of, a few small rate cuts, then the crypto market will be positive. If we have a drastic rate cut, then we could be heading towards recession, which means nobody has money to spend on the market space, which means it's bad for crypto and stock market. Concerns over currency devaluation. One of the long-term effects of continuous rate cuts could be currency devaluation. Economist Noel voiced his concerns on the Bits Plus Bips podcast. He suggested that the governments might need to print more money to maintain spending, which could weaken traditional currencies. This scenario might make crypto assets, particularly Bitcoin or other assets, more attractive as an alternative. Yes, if they do turn on the printing machine, then yes, cryptocurrencies will be seen as a much more reserved type of asset. Bitcoin is often seen as a hedge against currency devaluation, but opinions differ on its effectiveness and its capacity. Continuous money printing by governments could lead to devaluation of traditional currencies in the long term, which is a given. Bitcoin safe haven or risky asset? The debate over whether Bitcoin is a safe haven or a risky asset continues. Commodities analyst James, Bloomberg specialist, essentially ETF specialist, mentioned that BlackRock has started to view Bitcoin as a safe haven. However, in recent market trends, it tells a different story. According to CryptoCons reports, while Bitcoin's prices are falling, gold has reached new record levels, creating a negative correlation. This negative correlation usually indicates that investors prefer traditional safe haven assets more over speculative ones. As the Fed evaluates the next moves, the crypto market appears prepared for potential changes as interest rate cuts could increase the interest in cryptocurrencies, but the long-term effects remain uncertain, which is all facts. If we have a big rate cut, then bad for the crypto space. If we have a few small rate cuts, excellent for the crypto space. That's how it could play out. It could play out both ways regarding rate cuts. So if somebody's telling you rate cuts are bad for the crypto space, it depends on how big of a rate cut it is. If it's small rate cuts, then it's good for the crypto space. If it's big rate cuts, it leads to a recession, which is not good for any space, any market space. The next news to go from tonight's live show is regarding donations. Donations to John Deaton. So the founders of Gemini have endorsed John Deaton's pro-crypto lawyer for Senate in Massachusetts. The Wilklos brothers are well known inside the cryptocurrency space and have advocated John Deaton for a while now, and have been highly critical of Senator Elizabeth Warren's position on digital assets. Senator Elizabeth Warren has been manipulating crypto innovation legislations and policies for a very long time inside the United States. Taylor, one of the brothers' latest call to action came after John Deaton won the Massachusetts Republican primary, getting 64.9% of total votes. Tyler also said that Warren is waging an unlawful war against the crypto industry that is, essentially bad for 50 million Americans who use this technology inside the United States. He said Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto stance negatively affected American innovation and the economy. For instance, Tyler argues that Elizabeth Warren's policies aim at the industry to protect consumers, but the truth in that there are political reasons behind them. The brothers also donated $1 million to John Deaton's campaign in cryptocurrencies. The Wilklos brothers have also been supporting John Deaton's Senate campaign, donating $1 million this year. They continue to claim that John Deaton supports cryptocurrencies as this is fair and innovative compared to what they view as Elizabeth Warren as destructive stance. Tyler highlighted that John Deaton is a hardworking and honest person, which is not said about Elizabeth Warren in any sort of a way. Tyler and his brother also reacted to Elizabeth Warren's campaign claims that they were placing fake ads against her. The brothers rubbished such claims, stating that they are trying to shield the cryptocurrency industry from overregulation. They regarded Elizabeth Warren as a great threat to free market and innovation, especially inside the crypto space and for the United States people. John Deaton gains crypto support in the Senate. John Deaton's campaign has been on the rise, especially among cryptocurrency supporters, along with as a lawyer who essentially fights for the better regulations of virtual assets. Charles, the founder of Cardano and Ripple Labs, is also known to have supported John Deaton in his Senate bid. Such contributions indicate that there was a lot of support for John Deaton from the crypto space. Tyler also believed that Elizabeth Warren was using federal agencies like the SEC to jeopardize the digital asset market space inside the United States. He stated that Elizabeth Warren and others like her have made things very difficult for genuine players inside the industry through actions like contacting the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler. Tyler also noted that the hostility does need to stop also inside the United States, but is more broadly directed at economic actors inside the United States. The soon to take place Massachusetts Senate race has turned into a major fight over crypto regulations. John Deaton advocates for crypto policies, while Elizabeth Warren is known for her negative stance on them. The brothers' financial and verbal backings of John Deaton is evidence of the political clout of the cryptocurrency sector. Apparently, Senator Elizabeth Warren has stated that the founders of Gemini are creating fake ad campaigns against Senator Elizabeth Warren and tarnishing her name. I don't think anybody needs to create fake ad campaigns to tarnish the name of Senator Elizabeth Warren. I think she does that on her own perfectly well. Nobody needs to be playing ads to make her look bad. She already makes herself look bad. Now, moving on from John Deaton and Elizabeth Warren's fake ad campaigns to China. China's digital yuan has just surpassed $1 trillion, which has just pretty much outperformed stablecoins. China's digital CBDC has just surpassed $1 trillion. That is a staggering number. And it might not look like a lot if you say, it's past stablecoins, but we need to understand is stablecoins past in terms of volumes, MasterCard and Visa put together. So that's incredible. The digital yuan, a central bank digital currency, CBDC of the People's Republic of China, has demonstrated impressive growth in transactions. Recently, it was announced that the CBDC had surpassed popular stablecoins, USDC and USDC, pretty much together, in actively achieving transaction volumes of over $1 trillion, equivalent to 7 trillion yuan CBDC. This milestone highlights China's commitment to innovation inside the financial sector and its position as a key player in developing digital currencies. It also showcases the increasing influence and adoption of the digital yuan compared to other virtual assets around the world. Now, China obviously did get a head start on their CBDC compared to the rest of the nations around the world. Initiatives that propelled digital yuan's market success. Liu Li, the deputy governor of the People's Bank of China, disclosed this information during a press conference coordinated by the Chinese State Council Information Office. Li boosted that this achievement was not the first time the virtual asset had been used. Back in June 2023, the digital yuan outperformed USDT and USDC market activity as well. Li noted that the digital yuan's ability to be used as online and offline transactions has played a significant role in the recent market achievements. Also, efforts are being made to create a scalable application solutions around the virtual asset that can be extended nationwide, the Chinese CBDC. Liu Li also emphasized the benefits of digital yuan, particularly in enhancing privacy, preventing crime, which has led to a rise in consumer spending. This aspect also supports environmental, sustainable, and creating a more conducive business environment in China. Also, digital assets potentially provide more flexibility in international transactions, attracting investors and financial institutions. The digital yuan CBDC at the forefront of global financial innovation. During the conference, Liu Li also shared the latest progress on the upcoming central bank digital currency CBDC initiative centered around digital yuan. He noted that the program is currently in the testing phase across 17 provinces and regions in China. Liu Li also shared that this is an effort to broaden the usage of its wholesale, retail, and hospitality, culture, tourism, education, and healthcare sectors in China. This comes after Hong Kong's monetary authority technically tested digital yuan for cross-border payments back in 2023. Further, he noted that the CBDC has played a massive role in advancing financial inclusion by streaming payments for greater accessibility and efficiency. Interestingly, the Chinese fintech stocks saw a significant surge ahead of expected launch of CBDCs. China forges ahead in crypto innovation. The Republic of China has seen remarkable advancements in the crypto sector. China's developments of digital yuan and its efforts to exploring blockchain technology, showcasing its commitment to driving innovation in cryptocurrencies. China's progress in crypto innovation remains steadfast despite challenges from the US government and limitations linked to crypto scams. It's all true. China is, I mean, look, the reason why China was able to pass $1 trillion in CBDC digital yuan money, which they're seeing as a massive milestone, which it is, because they passed stablecoin transactions of USDT and USDC pretty much put together twice now. The reason why they were able to do that is because China was in CBDCs pretty much before any other country in the world. Not in terms of developments, there could be behind the scenes developments of other countries, but they were the first ones to release it, work on it, expand on it. China also has created mini cities. A lot of people aren't aware of this. I revealed this, a very long time ago, that China was creating, and it's pretty much done. They created mini cities, mini CBDC cities, where there's brand new apartments and brand new shops and brand new shopping centers. And they're like mini CBDC cities, where they will actually pay you to live there with CBDCs, where they'll give you an apartment for 2 years free rent or 5 years no rent. They'll give you a shop, a business that you can start up in that mini CBDC city where you can save a lot of money as well. They'll give you fundings for your business in CBDCs, obviously. So China has been trying to promote their CBDC to their public quite a lot by giving people free apartments for 5 years, no rent, by helping people fund their businesses, but only if they move to that mini CBDC city they've created for them. But China's doing a lot to push their CBDC, and now they're breaking milestones in terms of payments. Moving on from China's CBDC to Grayscale and Sui. Before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see where we were inside the comment section. By the way, again, this is a live show, which means you can get involved inside the comment section. We're live right now on YouTube and essentially X at the same time. As always, we are, because this is episode 153 of the CMF live show. You can tune in every single night into this live show. Let's see where we are inside the comment section. Before we go through the next news, there's quite a lot of news to go through on tonight's live show. A lot of news regarding legislations, policies. There's a lot of things happening around the world, which we have to cover on tonight's live show. But before we go through the next news, which is regarding Grayscale, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see where we were at. We were at here. Yep, we were at here. Miles, please don't forget that it was my idea from TikTok days regarding CMF hedge fund. So please make sure I'm a member. Yes, don't worry, you're a member. Miles, my Mercedes A35 AMG got stolen from the gym. Your car got stolen from the gym? Whoa. Do you know what you should do inside the UK? Park your car outside a bus stop. If you park your car anywhere else inside the UK, when it does get robbed, the cameras apparently don't work. But if you park your car inside of a bus stop, they'll have 6 different angles of your car in the cameras. Buying a car in the UK is not safe. Shelly, don't you ever forget you're my sister. Sack, he passed my Solana. What's the top 10 coins to buy? My crypto portfolio is on Telegram. Is ACH safe and has a future? ACH is a genuine project. Lots of money transfer licensings under their belts. Incredible partnerships and contracts. So in my point of view, ACH is definitely a project to look into in terms of the finance category, which is the #1 category inside the crypto space. When will XRP have its pump? I have promised high prices after the case. You would have to wait due to, they will first need to pay the money, which they have, but another 30 days for the SEC to receive it. Then we can know it's pretty much case sealed. And then we still need that second green light. And then the third green light. Thank you, everybody, for your kind words. But those donations that I make is for our family. Nothing more, nothing less. Let's go, JP. Let's go, XRP. Let's go, Camel. Here we go. Not only China, the world's commitment, pretty much. Frankie, maybe you're close. Let's see where we are. Hi, CMF family. Good to see you guys. Time to turn on my CMF TV. Let's go, Miles, for the real news. Let's go, Carl. How you doing? How far is China from being fully dependent on CBDC? They still have a while to go, but they're miles ahead of everybody. So in terms of CBDC usage, China is miles ahead of everybody else, but they still have a while to go. because China has a humongous population, and their small population has just passed 1 trillion, essentially CBDC in terms of payments and volume. That's their small population. Imagine their median population of how much they're going to be bringing in volume of CBDCs. And this is just basically, most of it is 99% is domestic payments, not international, it's domestic payments. 99%, pretty much. 98%, 99% domestic payments. Is ACH the most promising coin outside of the top 100 in your opinion? Yeah. Grayscale, definitely. Jury duty tomorrow in Las Vegas. Sounds fun. Let's go, Leroy. How you doing? Yeah, jury duty is never fun. Grayscale, but I know you're being sarcastic. Grayscale SUI. Trust opens for accredited investors. Grayscale has announced that its recently launched SUI Trust is now open to qualified investors. The digital asset manager said in an announcement today that SUI Trust was accessible to eligible accredited investors. Grayscale launched the SUI Trust alongside the Tau Trust in August, noting that the two funds add its range of products offering qualified investors exposure to various cryptocurrencies. The SUI TVL rises to $940 million. SUI is a smart contracts blockchain network that currently ranks at 38th largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization with $2.4 billion under its belt. The blockchain architecture is designed to boost the adoption of Web3 applications with key features including parallel executions, ZK loggers, and sponsored transactions. With a growing presence in the decentralized finance and real-world asset ecosystem, SUI's total value locked TVL has seen a notable rebound after dipping more than 50% from highs of $1.08 billion back in May 2024 to near $560 million in early August. DeFi Llama data shows that SUI's TVL has rebounded to $940 million, its 10th largest chain TVL, although it pales in comparison to Ethereum, that accounts for over 65% of the total value locked in all chains. Meanwhile, the native SUI token is used in blockchain networks' proof-of-stake mechanism for rewards. SUI is also used for gas fee payments, network utility, and governance. The token price has struggled for upside since dropping from highs of $1.10 back in mid-August. But if you are holding SUI, this is amazing news. If you are holding SUI regarding essentially Grayscale opening their doors to a SUI trust for accredited investors only, which means Wall Street heads essentially, it's amazing because that's where all the money is, Wall Street. So if you're holding SUI, that's good news for you. Now, moving away from the SUI news and Grayscale news to Singapore news. Singapore leads with $1 billion in stablecoin transactions aimed a global push. In the second quarter, Singapore witnessed a record-breaking nearly $1 billion in stablecoin payments, prominently at merchant locations, reported by Chain Analysis. Eric, the lead of cybercrimes research at Chain Analysis, noted that businesses are increasingly adopting to these tokens due to their efficiency and low cost. Furthermore, stablecoin transactions in Singapore totaled about $161 million later half of the 2023. Back in 2023, they were doing around $161 million. Now they're doing about $1 billion, according to Analysis. Singapore stablecoin boom sparks a debate aimed at the crypto hub plans. Stablecoins, digital assets whose value is pegged to the real-world assets like fiat currencies, are primarily used for crypto trading, but have also attracted scrutiny for their use of illicit activities. Despite their role, stablecoins constitute only a minor portion of total payment flows. For instance, retail card payments, Singapore reached $73.2 billion, approximately $56.2 billion in US dollars, in the latter half of the previous year, highlighting the dominance of traditional payment methods, and then the Singapore stablecoin boom started. Meanwhile, when it comes to the effects of becoming a digital asset, Singapore stablecoin could become more than a good thing for the country because it is focused on leveraging blockchain technology for institutional applications that could enhance the speed and cost effectiveness of financial transactions. Over the past 2 years, the use of cryptocurrencies for payments and various services has seen an increase among merchants. For example, in March, a grab of rail-hailing services began allowing users to top up their e-wallets using cryptocurrencies through a partnership with payment firms AAA. XSGD drives Singapore retail crypto surge, aimed banking concerns. The popularity of stablecoins has also risen during this period. According to a study, over 75% of transactions involving stablecoins, XSGD, have the third quarter of back in 2022 to a second quarter of 2024, where the amounts of $1 million or less, indicating a robust retail activity. In fact, nearly 25% of XSGD transfers were below $10,000. This contrasts with other US dollar-pegged stablecoins, which are prominently transferred in larger amounts of $1 million, pointing to their prevalence in institutional settings, as noted by Chainalysis. In addition to the rise in crypto activity and stablecoin payments in Singapore, it also comes in concerns of the traditional banking system, as market expert Robert recently highlighted. Echoing the sentiments from a study about regulatory impacts on crypto markets, Robert emphasized the vulnerabilities within the traditional financial systems, particularly that overstretched bond markets. According to him, the global economy's heavy reliance on debt manifested through bonds is a precocious foundation prone to eventual collapse of the traditional financial system due to the debt issues and the bond issues. Robert further elaborated on the nature of market and banking crashes. He suggested that while market crashes are often visible and predictable, providing time for preparation, bank crashes are more insidious and coincidentally more hazardous. This perspective aligns with the heightened interest in cryptocurrencies in lower middle income countries, possibly as a hedge against traditional financial uncertainties. Reasons why people in Singapore are running towards stablecoins. And in terms of Singapore, they have legislations and policies in place for stablecoins and so on for cryptocurrencies. I mean, Singapore is pretty much number one in terms of innovation in general. Regulatory clarity boosts Singapore's stablecoin adoption. The Chainalysis study showed that positive impact of regulatory clarity on investors' confidence when it comes to Singapore stablecoins. Back in August 2023, the Monetary Authority of Singapore enhanced the stablecoin regulations by introducing new requirements for issuers, detailing segregation and custody rules for customer assets. Further, regulatory measures were implemented in April 2024 when the MAS introduced additional crypto custody and licensing requirements. These regulatory improvements coincided with a significant uptick in the global crypto activities, which saw an index score soar to 0.8% in the first quarter of 2024 from 0.39 in the previous quarters. This peak was the highest record from the third quarter of 2021 to the second quarter of 2024. The launch of Bitcoin exchange-traded funds in the US also simulated a surge in the total value of Bitcoin activity, particularly in North America and Western Europe. Also, recently, Paxos essentially received approval from Singapore Central Bank to offer digital payment token services, allowing it to issue stablecoins in compliance with local regulations. This clearance of the MAS, which is the Monetary Authority of Singapore, designated Paxos as a major payment institution, placing it among a select group of entities within Singapore, a strict financial regulatory environment. This expansion is also expected to increase the global reach of US dollar stablecoins and reinforce Paxos' presence in the digital financial sector. Furthermore, it was supported by its partnership with DBS Bank for cash management and stablecoin reserves and custody. DBS Bank, Ripple, Singapore, Ripple. But yeah, I mean, Singapore is, when it comes to, in general, crypto innovation. So when it comes to CBDC innovation, China takes the ranks number one. When it comes to crypto innovation, out of every country in the world, there was actually a study test, which I revealed on this live show. Singapore ranks number one in terms of everything, in terms of their regulations, their policies, how fair they are, and how they treat crypto essentially innovation inside their country. They were ranking number one. Ranking number two was between Hong Kong and the UAE. And ranking number three was Japan, and the list just went on. That's in general. On tonight's live show, we're also going to go through the top 20 countries of 2024 of what they've brought to the table inside the cryptocurrency space in terms of regulations and policies and essentially innovation, Web3, AI, and so on. So we're going to go through that on tonight's live show as well. But before we go through that, we're going to go through Ford and Toyota. The blockchain industry has paved itself inside the entertainment space, mostly inside the financial space, but it's also paved itself inside the gaming space, the AI space, the entertainment space, and also the automotive space. So with companies like Sony, for example, introducing Sonium, their own blockchain essentially, or Samsung about to be creating their own blockchain with the same company that Sony decided to create theirs with. Now, for a while, I talked about Toyota entering the blockchain space as well, where they're developing some sort of a blockchain system to integrate into Toyota vehicles. Ford has also just joined the ranks. The next big automotive company in the world has just joined the ranks of Toyota of designing blockchain to integrate it into Ford vehicles as well. So Ford and Toyota double down on blockchain as driverless car tech starts. Ford and Toyota continue to lead the way when it comes to the development of blockchain-based vehicle technology, at least according to the slate of recent patent filings from both automotive firms. Between the two of them, Ford and Toyota have filed a total of at least 43 blockchain-related patents in the second quarter of 2024. 43 blockchain patents have been filed in by Ford and Toyota. Overall, the number of patents filed in the industry was fewer than quarter two in the previous quarters, according to the data from global data patent analyst and Joyce Auto. However, both Ford and Toyota bucked this trend. Ford increased its filings from just three in quarter one to 14 in quarter two, while Toyota improved from 25 patents in quarter one to 29 patents in quarter two. Blockchain for automotive. The patents filed by Ford and Toyota and other automotive industry companies in the past few months addressed myriad concerns within the sector. Ford, for example, recently filed a patent that could essentially provide immutable provenance for vehicle ownership. So Ford has just patented a file, essentially, where blockchain comes into the space of you tokenizing your vehicle through Ford, which is an interesting concept. This would use the blockchain as a immutable ledger, recording vehicle titles, changes as they occur. With this system, it will be trivial to use smart contracts to exchange both the physical commodity itself, the vehicle, and the assets associated with its ownership, the title in a single, essentially autonomously executed action. Meanwhile, a recently filed Toyota patent indicates that the company is exploring developments of eternal blockchain-based systems to manage NFTs related to its vehicles. This system would ensure that vehicles in storage, such as those held by dealers until sale, are accurately reflected on the blockchain ledger. Driverless vehicle technology. Toyota and Ford have both shown signs of adjusting their respective strategies to focus on driverless assistance technologies over autonomous vehicles, but they're doing it with blockchain technology. A recent gathering featured hundreds of insiders working in the driverless car industry showed that while optimism remains high among companies involved, the general tenor of the technology world is the collective community still hasn't come solve these challenges, preventing robo-taxis from going public. The shift towards the maturer blockchain technology could provide both Ford and Toyota with a competitive advantage going forward. Yes, there are driverless companies right now around the world. For example, inside the United States, there's robo-taxis. Essentially, it's a company that you can get. It's like an Uber, but it has no driver and it comes and picks you up. But the company hasn't picked up and hasn't taken off. Ford and Toyota have decided to use blockchain technology to make this take off as an industry. So the shift towards a much more mature blockchain technology could provide both Ford and Toyota with a competitive edge going forward. Even the autonomous vehicle sector as well. One of the main factors being explored by both industries is the impact that blockchain-based city infrastructures could have on driverless vehicle technologies. What's interesting is Ford and Toyota, two of the biggest, basically automotive industries in the world, have this consensus mindset that we're going to be heading towards blockchain-based city infrastructures. And therefore, if we're going to be heading towards blockchain-based infrastructure cities, we need to have blockchain vehicles, in other words. Every vehicle needs to be on the blockchain if we're heading towards a blockchain-based infrastructure of cities around the world. So Ford and Toyota are already seeing this blockchain world we're going to be living in. Ford and Toyota have the same mindset going on that we're going to be living in blockchain-based cities. Therefore, we need blockchain-based vehicles. We need vehicles that are also on the blockchain if we're going to be living in these types of cities, which is crazy. Now, they haven't announced in any of their patents which blockchain they're going to be using. We do know for a fact that, for example, the DVLA inside of California for 100 million vehicles, they're going to be using AVAX. AVAX is going to be used for 100 million vehicle titles to be, regarding the California DVLA, expanding essentially across. It's going to be used as AVAX on a subnet green. So AVAX has a very good carbon footprint type of scenario going on for their blockchain on a subnet green, which is attracting quite a lot of institutions and so on, automotive industries. So is there a possibility that Ford and Toyota are also going to go with AVAX because the DVLA has went with them? And a few banks went with AVAX as well due to their subnet green and carbon footprint as well. But that in general is crazy news regarding Ford and Toyota widening their range, and everybody's vehicle is going to be on blockchain, which also goes back to something I said a very, very, very long time ago, which was I said that people sometimes ask me a lot of questions. Everybody asks me questions on the lives. Everybody direct message me and ask me questions. People in real life ask me questions as well regarding crypto. And they go, well, how's this project? What's going on here? Should I do this investment and so on? I always tell, obviously, not financial advice, whatever I do say in public or on the live or when I get messaged by people. But what I've always said is that when everybody tells me that, what should I go for? So some of my friends and the contacts around me go, should I go for the stock market? Should I go? Or some people message me, should I go for this stock? Should I go for this particular stock? Or should I go for the crypto market? Or should I just use my money just to buy a house and get it over with? And I say to them always that what I've always said, I said this a very long time ago on this live show. I said that this tiny little market space in the crypto space is tiny compared to what it's going to become. The stock market is pretty much this big. And I said this tiny little crypto market is about to revolutionize everything around you. I said this tiny little market here is about to even revolutionize the stock market by tokenizing assets. I said this tiny little stock market, this tiny little crypto market is going to bring your house that you're going to be using this money to buy, it's going to get tokenized. Your car is going to get tokenized. Anything with assets in terms of bonds, derivatives, stocks, anything with sort of value is going to get tokenized. I said everything around you is going to go on the blockchain. And this tiny little crypto market is going to become this massive space as it continues forward. So when people ask me the question of, should I just use my money to buy a house? Should I just use my money to buy a car? Should I just go on the stock market? Or should I just enter the crypto markets? I say enter the crypto markets because this tiny little space is about to revolutionize everything around it. Which brings me to, me announcing Ford and Toyota, two of the biggest automotive spaces in the world, are in the blockchain space. They have 43 patent filings, all related to blockchain, which is crazy. And the DVLA also has patents going on as well. But what you've got to understand is genuinely that, and what I've always said is, that tiny space is about to revolutionize everything. And I was right. I mean, I'm always right. Well, most of the time I'm right. No, I'm always right. Now, moving on to this news. But before I tell you the news, I'm going to let everybody guess. Okay, and it's not a trick question this time because yesterday I asked a question from everyone and it was a trick question. But this time I want everybody to get involved inside the comment section. And it's not a trick question. I'm telling you right now, it's not a trick question in any sort of a way. So the question I'm going to ask you, and I want everyone to get involved inside the comment section. And again, it's not a trick question, not a trick question. And what I want to ask you is, in 2024, not in general, but in 2024, which countries do you think have excelled the most inside of the crypto space? In 2024, which countries have brought in the most amount of adoption? Not, 2023, 2022, 2021, and 2024, and so on. No, just 2024. Which country? If you want, name one or two or three countries as 1, 2, 3. Which countries do you think have brought in, in terms of more regulations, more policies, more innovation, strict rules or fair rules? Which country do you think has started moving forward in 2024 the most compared to the rest? And it's not a trick question. Just put down which countries do you think. And it's not a general question. Just 2024, just 2024, that's it. And the report is from Chain Analysis. And while you do that inside the comment section, I'm going to go through the comment section to see what I missed through. Let's see, go inside the comment section. We were here. Miles, can you add the date along with the episode? We'll make it easier to find when we missed it. Thanks. Mav, no problem. I'll start adding the date from now on. Going to ride my bicycle 10 miles to court on a bike path for safety. Let's go, Leroy. Good lesson on court systems and human behavior. Sure. I sold a house for Singapore Airlines. They owned a Westwood Los Angeles in 1985. Wow. Singapore is very nice, I heard. Yeah, it's a very beautiful country. Just so you know, I'm not guessing the top 20. No, I'm not guessing the top 20 because you probably ring it anyway. No, Shelly, it's not a trick question. It's not a trick question. Say any country you want. Good evening, everyone. Bull XRP, good to see you. How you doing? Yay for Toyota. Let's go, Carol. Hi, Miles of CMF. Billo, good to see you. How you doing? Did you enjoy the debate? Yes, I did. Miles, have you heard the news that Pakistan have found the 4th biggest oil and gas reserves in their waters? Well, maybe they should have kept that to themselves because saying it out loud regarding Pakistan, that might not be too well. I just wish Pakistan had honest government that would make the country so rich, not just the corrupt politicians. I agree. AVAX is going to be massive. I agree as well. Facts. AVAX is a very underrated project, and they have big names on AVAX's chain. In terms of Citibank, in terms of JP Morgan, they're all on AVAX. Ford, Toyota want to use smart contracts with blockchain technology and CBDC to control people with loans and mortgages. They can block a car off and make their loans a priority for the customers to pay off. Yes, facts. What Carl has just said is pretty much facts. Okay, now the list of countries, what everybody thinks in 2024, just 2024. In general, it will be a different list. In general, Singapore is number 1, and Hong Kong and the UAE are ranking 2nd, and Japan's 3rd. That's in general. But just 2024, who's progressed the most? Just 2024. So let's see what everyone said. G said Japan, which is a good choice. Saudi Arabia and China is what Scott said. M said the UAE or Russia. Max said South Korea is number 1. Bilal said Japan. Feels like it's UAE is what Camel said. Orphan said India. Bilal said Japan and UAE. Max said Japan. Roscoe said UAE, China, and Japan. See my previous comment? Shelly, just, say a country. It's not a trick question, but I feel like it's a country that no one's going to be able to guess. So is it a trick question? Maybe Shelly was onto something. Russia, South Korea, Malaysia is what Chozone said. That's good choices. Christopher said Russia. Orphan said Singapore. Carl said India. Dubai, Max said it. Chozone said Singapore. Mav says, I would say El Salvador and China and Argentina. Interesting choices. JP said Turkey and Japan. Ray said Singapore. Carl said Japan, Singapore, and Dubai. I'm seeing a theme here. Lena said UAE, Thailand, and Rwanda. That's an interesting one. Brazil, El Salvador is what Michael said. UAE, Singapore, and South Korea is what Funky Butter said. Taiwan is what Max said. I missed the question. George, what country in 2024 do you think has had the most innovations inside the crypto space? Put inside the comment section. Hong Kong is what Max said. El Salvador is what Funky Butter said. Joe said Japan, China, and India. Ishan said South Africa is the best country to live now at the current moment. Interesting. Stormy says India, question mark. Bull says Singapore. I know which country comes last is the US because of the weasel Gary. Yep. Lena said Russia. Shelly said Antarctica. Max said USA. Billo says Somalia. Troy says Mexico. G says, well, it's not the US. It's not the US. Okay. Not a single person got it correct for the first guess. For the first country, nobody got it correct. The second country, everybody had it somewhere. For example, Stormy says India. India was second. Joe says India. India second. A lot of people said India. India is ranking second, but nobody got the first answer. But somebody did come close. Somebody did come close to maybe Turkey. Nope. Mars is what Camel says. Somebody did come close to it. And I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Somebody said Rwanda. Who said Rwanda? Lena. Lena was the closest. How you mean it's not a trick question? Switzerland is what Carl said. Not close enough. India, funky brother. Swiss, no. Okay. So somebody said Rwanda and it was Lena. Lena was the closest with Rwanda. Okay. Now, this is not my study test. It's Chain Analysis. Chain Analysis does a lot of study test reports, and they are pretty much the go-to place for the crypto space. Like, for example, Moody's is the rating agency for Wall Street. Chain Analysis and Arkham Intelligence are for the crypto space. The number one, not Somalia though. Believe it or not, Ray, Somalia was close enough as well. Ooh. I think Max caught on, Orphan caught on, and Funky Brother caught on. Nigeria. Nigeria was first. Nigeria, India, and nobody got the third one either. Indonesia. Some people got India. Now everyone's getting Nigeria and Indonesia. Nigeria, India, and Indonesia lead the world in crypto adoption this year. Nigeria, India, and Indonesia are now on the top 3 countries in crypto adoption for 2024, according to Chain Analysis Global Crypto Adoption Index. This index reportedly looks at how countries use crypto services, and these 3 nations took the lead thanks to a combination of factors like transaction volumes, retail usage, and DeFi adoption. Breaking down the index. The Global Crypto Adoption Index has 4 sub-indexes. The first one ranks countries by the total crypto value received by centralized services, and it adjusts in the rankings based on the GDP per capita. This helps measure how big crypto adoption is for regular people in the country. For instance, India is ranked first in this category because it received the highest total value in relations to its GDP per capita. Nigeria, ranked second overall globally, came in 5th. The second sub-index tracks retail transactions. These are crypto transactions under $10,000, which show how individuals, users engage with cryptocurrencies. India also tops this category, showing that a large number of smaller personal transactions are happening in the country. Nigeria is ranked second in retail transactions. Indonesia, which ranks 3rd overall, came in 6th. In the DeFi sub-index, Indonesia took the number 1 spot for globally. India ranked 3rd, and while Nigeria landed 2nd place. So it's going back and forward between Nigeria, Indonesia, and India. Nigeria, Indonesia, India, or India, Nigeria, Indonesia. But in general, 2024, Nigeria was 1st, India was 2nd, Indonesia was 3rd. Now, still going forward, Chain Analysis said that it made some important changes to its methodology this year. One major change is how they calculate transaction volume. Before, intermediary steps between wallets could inflate numbers. So Chain Analysis have decided to stop looking at inflated wallets and look at real transactions happening when they do study test reports, which is a better accurate report, because bot transactions are not good for study test reports. Now, Chain Analysis only counts the first transactions, providing a more accurate picture of DeFi activity. This adjustment led to lower estimates for some countries, but offers more precise data on who is actually using DeFi services. Another major change is the removal of P2P exchanges sub-index. For years, P2P exchanges were a key part of measuring crypto adoption. But the decline of P2P trading activities and the shutdown of platforms, Chain Analysis explained that it has decided to exclude this type of category for 2024. Top 20 countries for crypto adoption in 2024. So this is the list of top 20 countries for crypto adoption in 2024. After India, Nigeria, and Indonesia, the United States comes in 4th place. A lot of people thought the United States was last. The United States comes 4th place in 2024, with its ranking boosted by large institutional transactions, especially after the introduction of Bitcoin ETFs. Everybody forgot about Bitcoin ETFs. Vietnam, which previously ranked 1st back in 2023, now sits in 5th place. Ukraine and Russia and the Philippines round out in the top 10 as well. Brazil and Turkey also feature in the top 10. Representing the Latin American and Middle Eastern regions, which have been seeing rapid crypto adoption as well. Countries like the United Kingdom ranked in 12th place in terms of crypto innovation in 2024. Venezuela ranked in 13th place in terms of crypto innovation. Mexico, which some of you mentioned as well, is in 14th place in terms of crypto adoption. Argentina is 15th place. Shows that crypto adoption, especially widespread in regions facing economic challenges like Argentina. The countries have seen a surge in crypto transactions as people turn to stablecoins to hedge against inflation, which has spiked uncontrollably thanks to the President Javier Milei's strict policies. Meanwhile, South Korea and China, although major players in the global crypto scene, rank in 19th and 20th place. South Korea and China on 19th and 20th place. All in all, crypto activity surged globally between late 2023 and early 2024, even surpassing the levels seen during the 2021 bull market. DeFi usage has exploded in the sub-Saharan African, Latin America, and Eastern European, contributing to a surge in altcoin activities. Chainalysis expects this trend to continue as more people in regions gain access to decentralized financial services. So, that is the list of countries that are progressing up the ladder in 2024. Regarding India, Nigeria, and Indonesia being first, second, and third pretty much, and everybody else following in suit with essentially countries like the UK is 12th place, Venezuela is 13th place, Mexico is 14th place, Argentina is 15th place, China and essentially South Korea came in at 19th of 20th place, USA was 4th place. I mean, in Chainalysis terms, this was a better study test because they didn't count the inflated wallets like they previously did in their previous study test. They didn't count the bot wallets or the inflated wallets. They only counted first transactions, and they counted as a wallet that is active and has done a first transactions, but they didn't follow on through all the transactions because it could be bot transactions. But they counted the first transactions of each wallet, and based on policies and regulations and innovation and so on, and usage, retail section being in it, per capita and so on, is how they estimated which country is ranking in which category. So those are the list of countries that are bringing in the most amount of innovation in 2024. Now, obviously, that's just to point out one thing. The only thing that they didn't categorize in their study test, my bad, the only thing that they didn't categorize in their study test was regulations for, essentially regulations of safety nets for institutions coming into play and so on. That was the only thing that they didn't categorize in their study test, but they categorized everything else in terms of retail section using payments and companies working, trying to bring some innovation in and so on. That is what they categorized as, and first payments and wallets and usage is what they did per capita, which still shows the amount of innovation that's happening. And yes, somebody just pointed out as Nigeria are holding Binance's CEO. Okay, they are holding, not Binance's CEO, but they're holding a Binance member. It is correct. Nigeria is holding a Binance member. But some people got it correct regarding which country it is. So at the end, Orphan, Funky Brother, and Mav, Orphan, Funky Brother, and Max got it right regarding Nigeria. But everybody else was close enough. Some of you said Rwanda. That was close. That was a hint that Lena gave to everybody else. But that is an opinion and a study test based on what Chainalysis has said. Now, is it 100% accurate? It's accurate up to a certain extent. It's not 100% accurate in any sort of a way. But it's accurate up to a certain extent. And you've got to remember, this is just for 2024. If we're countering in everything, then no, it's not going to be that list. It's going to be Singapore number 1, Hong Kong and UAE ranking in second. Third is going to be Japan, and so on and so on. I've already shared the other list. That's in general. This was just for 2024. And they're also counting in CBDCs as well, which some of these countries don't have CBDCs, which it's an advantage for Nigeria because Nigeria has CBDCs, India has CBDCs, Indonesia has CBDCs. So it's an advantage for those types of countries compared to the rest on this study test particularly as well. And China has CBDCs as well, but I think they're being biased against China putting it at last place. But it's one study test report. It's not 100% what's actually happening, but it's close enough is what I would say. with some adjustments. In general, big difference. Singapore first, Hong Kong, UAE second, and so on. That would be a very different list. This was just for 2024. Now, what we're going to talk about next, moving on from the top 20 list, is McAfee. Why are we talking about McAfee, one of the biggest antivirus companies in the world? Because this big, humongous antivirus company has decided to come out and warn the crypto space, because there is a lot of scams and essentially crypto scams and crypto manipulation, crypto malware that's going on inside the crypto space. Now, McAfee has decided to come out and warn everybody about certain malware that's being downloaded on your smartphones, and they're trying to warn people of certain things, of what not to do if you have your crypto wallets on your phone. Some people have two phones. The majority of people have one phone. And on that one phone, they probably carry their Tangent wallet, their Ledger app, and their Trust wallets, and their Binance accounts, and Crypto.com account, and so on. A lot of people use one phone, and they carry all of their crypto apps on that one phone, which means you've got to be very, very, safeguarding your phone from a lot of things. One being, never connect your phone to public Wi-Fi. Actually, here's one thing. Last week, one of my friends that I've known for a very long time, but we're not in so much in contact at all. But recently, because he's into crypto as well, so we made some sort of contact. And then he was sitting at a coffee shop, and he was doing a few, checking on his crypto accounts, and he was connected to the coffee shop's Wi-Fi. So he's checking on his crypto accounts, and he was about to do a transaction. So he opened his wallet, typed his passwords in, and he was about to do a transaction. And his transaction was $15,000. The next thing he knows is his computer pretty much his laptop goes blank. It goes black screen. Some codes were going on his screen, essentially. Some malware was happening on his laptop on a public Wi-Fi connected to a coffee shop. It was Starbucks, if I'm not mistaken. And his $15,000, his wallet was drained by him connecting to a public Wi-Fi, and then him typing in his passphrases, entering his wallet on his laptop. Connected to that public Wi-Fi, his wallet got drained. $15,000 gone, just like that. He ends up calling the police. And this was last week. He ends up calling the police. And the police said, we can't do anything about it. Because, first of all, the police can understand what exactly he's talking about in terms of blockchain transactions. But they said, it's your choice to safeguard yourself in this, if you're doing these types of things. And they said, why would you connect to a public Wi-Fi? Which is the number one thing I've always said to everybody. If you hold all of your wallets on your phones, if you hold your Tangent, your Ledger, and your Binance apps, your Coinbase apps, or whatever, don't ever in your lifetime connect to a public Wi-Fi, especially on an airport Wi-Fi or a hospital Wi-Fi or a coffee shop Wi-Fi, because that could pretty much end very south. Now, yes, $15,000 is a lot of money if you lose it like this. For him, he has a lot of money, so $15,000 will hurt him a little bit for a little while, but not for too long. But $15,000 is a lot of money to be losing instantly for a lot of people. So please do not connect to public Wi-Fi. If you have your, wallet apps, your Binance exchanges, Crypto.com exchange, so on, don't connect to public Wi-Fi. It will end very, very quickly, very south, which means your wallets will get drained. Because public Wi-Fi is very easy to put malware on public Wi-Fi and then to spread that malware on anybody using that public Wi-Fi. Like a virus, it was malware. So, going on this, McAfee, one of the biggest antivirus companies in the world, has decided to warn the crypto space about malware that's happening on mobile phones. And it's a specific type of malware that started out of South Korea that could be reaching, your countries as well in terms of this virus that's entering people's smartphones and draining their crypto wallets. McAfee alerts crypto wallet owners to mobile malware. Crypto wallet owners in South Korea need to exercise caution due to a new mobile malware threat. Cybersecurity firm McAfee has identified this malware, especially designed to steal seed phrases, posing as a significant risk. Seed phrases are essential for regaining access to a crypto wallet. Spy agent malware. McAfee researchers have essentially detected the new threat named Spy Agent. There's a new malware titled Spy Agent that can be placed within any application and you wouldn't even know about it. It could be placed through public Wi-Fi's and you wouldn't know about it. So, which essentially masks as a 280 fraudulent applications offering various services. This Spy Agent malware that's specifically designed to steal your seed phrases for your crypto wallets on your phone is only has one purpose. This virus has one purpose, just to steal your seed phrases from your phones, which is called Spy Agent, and it's been essentially found on multiple types of applications. For example, the 280 fraudulent applications offering this type of service were such as banking. Some banking apps had this virus inside of them, but these banking apps are pretending to be your actual banking app. TV broadcasting apps, governments and utilities. Essentially, these deceptive apps have been operating in Korea since the start of the year, collecting user data from texts, contacts, and stored images to send to remote servers. The gathered data is then scanned for seed phrases. So Spy Agent is within these types of applications. Some of these applications pretend to be genuine applications, and others are applications that you would think they're genuine and they're within them. So what the Spy Agent does is it stays on your phone for years. It can stay on your phone for 9 months and you would have no idea this virus is on your phone. And for 9 months, it will be storing your images on a server somewhere else. It'll be storing your images. It will be storing your contact details. It will be storing your notes. And the virus will scan for your notes, scan for your images, trying to look for seed phrases. A lot of people, one big mistake they do when they open up a new wallet is just take a screenshot of their seed phrases. The worst thing you can do is take a screenshot of your seed phrases. For example, some people open up a Trust wallet and then they just take a screenshot of their seed phrases and save it in their photos on their iPhone or on their Samsung phones or so on. It's the biggest mistake you can do, because viruses like this will scan your images and you wouldn't have any idea this virus is on your phone. They will scan your images for seed phrases. So how does it spread? Sang Royal Ray of McAfee explained that the malware through phishing campaigns. These campaigns use malicious links in text messages and social media to direct users to fake websites. These sites prompt users to download seemingly legitimate applications, which then install the malware on their devices. Users should verify the authenticity of any message or link before clicking or connecting to public Wi-Fi. Concrete steps to stay safe. Avoid downloading apps from third-party sources. Conduct regular scans and with reliable antivirus softwares. A lot of people think just because, for example, I use an iPhone, but a lot of people think just because they use an iPhone, your iPhone is 100% safe and you don't need antivirus because Apple software is too smart and too intelligent for any virus, which is an absolute load of nonsense. You still need to have some sort of an antivirus on your phone. If you are a type of person that carries their wallets on their phone, for example, their Tangent app, their Ledger app, if you carry these kinds of apps on your phone, have an antivirus as a backup. Don't think just because you have Apple and you're safeguarded from any sort of virus outside the world, you're not in any sort of way safeguarded at all. I mean, my friend who got drained from $15,000 was using a MacBook and he got drained $15,000 on public Wi-Fi. So increase awareness and keep devices updated. One of the biggest things, yes, always make sure your device, your phone, your smartphone, your iPhone, your Android phone, whatever it is always updated to the most newest update that your manufacturer has released, because sometimes manufacturers like Apple and Samsung and Google phones, they release certain updates that will patch and fix bugs or patch up things that have holes so viruses can't enter. So make sure your phone is always updated to the most securest, essentially, upgrade that they've released. Report suspicious activities immediately as well. That one might be a bit of a difficult situation, but also not connecting to public Wi-Fi. McAfee stressed the critical need to raise awareness to safeguard against such malware threats. Users should also rely on trusted sources for information and ensure that their devices are up to date with the latest security measures. Any suspicious activities should be reported promptly and necessary precautions must be taken. McAfee's warning highlights the importance for crypto wallet owners to take proactive measures to bolster their security. Regular device checks and heightened vigilance are essential to maintain safety. These antivirus apps that you can download on the App Store, McAfee is one of them. For example, you can download on the App Store and you would have to open up the app and then on any day you want, just press scan phone and it will start scanning every single app on your phone, scanning every single image on your phone, this antivirus, and try to look for some sort of a malware that's essentially hiding behind any folder. And it will find it, and then you can remove it with the antivirus app. But your iPhones won't be able to detect that. For example, iPhone had one issue where Trust Wallet could be compromised through iPhones, and an iPhone had to release some sort of a patch to fix that issue. But your Trust Wallets for a time period could have become compromised through iPhones, and Apple essentially released some sort of patch that fixed that issue. The recently discovered spy agent malware poses a serious risk to the security of crypto wallet owners. Users in South Korea should verify the authenticity of applications they download and remain cautious about suspicious links. Awareness and strict security measures are key to preventing spread of such malwares. This virus came pretty much out of South Korea, but it's pretty much expanding worldwide. And it's called a spy agent, and it pretty much attaches itself to any sort of application that you might think is genuine and you might download, or you might click on a random link or click on a random message or whatever, and voila, it's inside of your phone, and you would have zero clue about it, and it could be in your phone for 9 months, just tracking everything you do, scanning your images for seed phrases, because that is what's designed to do, and empty your wallets. So even if you have an iPhone, don't think you're 100% secure. Get an antivirus. McAfee is also a great antivirus company that you could go for as well. I trust them a lot. I've had McAfee on my MacBook Pros. I've had on my MacBook Air. I've had McAfee iMacs on my Samsung laptop. Everything I've always had McAfee as well on them. So it's a great platform. AVG is also great as well as an antivirus. If you want another alternative, AVG is great as well. Is what I would say, yes, but definitely. But number one thing, never connect to public Wi-Fi. Now, moving on from your safety to cryptocurrencies to Sony. I revealed a while ago, and I've been keeping updating people regarding Sony's blockchain venture. So we have another update. Sony's new Sonium blockchain testnet is now live. Sony Group has introduced its proprietary blockchain platform, Sonium, which incorporates Web3 technology into everyday life, offering developers a scalable, secure, and economical framework for creating creative apps. Sony has collaborated with prominent blockchain platforms, including Astor Network, ACH, Chainlink, Circle, Optimize, and The Graph to improve the platform's usefulness, scalability, and security. Sonium has introduced a testnet named Minto. Sony's Sonium blockchain testnet is called Minto, enabling developers and early users to engage with the network and examine its functionalities. So early users there are people right now using Sonium, but it's only for developers just to play around on a testnet on Sony's blockchain. Users are invited to participate in the testnet to examine its functionalities, offer comments, and maybe qualify for feature incentives. Sonium has not yet released a token. Nevertheless, the platform's roadmap indicates a forthcoming airdrop for early users who engage with the testnet and fulfill designated requirements. So, if you are an early user of Sony's blockchain Sonium on the Minto testnet, in the fourth part of the roadmap, you could be receiving Sony tokens. To qualify for an airdrop from Sony, users must access the Sonium website, utilize the Sonium testnet bridge to connect to their wallets, request a sample ETH from ACH bridge testnet tokens to examine the network's functionalities, join Sonium's Discord channel, and mint an X-name domain on Sonium Minto testnet. So if you want to get involved in Sony's blockchain Sonium and get free airdrops from Sony of their new token that's going to be coming on the fourth part of their roadmap, you can get involved now, and then when the fourth part of their roadmap comes out, you'll be getting airdrops from Sony. Before we go through the next news, which is regarding Deutsche Bank, which is vital information for everybody to know about. And after that one is also vital information, but everything I've talked about tonight was incredible vital information. But before we go through that, let's move to the comment section first. Good night, Miles, and all the CMF. Thank you. JP, see you tomorrow, brother, same time as usual. And JP, thank you so much for the donation to the CMF hedge fund. Absolutely amazing with the $400. See you tomorrow, brother, same time as usual. Let's go to the comment section first before we go for the next news. And that's, do you think, Miles, is an advantage to get some fiat currencies of these countries from the list? Do their money can be boosted from their active participation in crypto markets? No, I wouldn't recommend getting any sort of fiat currencies. The reason why they have so much activity going on inside the crypto space is because their fiat currency is not doing too well. I never connect to public Wi-Fi. Let's go, Shelly. Facts. Best thing you do, honestly. Best thing you can do, Shelly. Well done. I don't mind because I don't own any apps. Let's go, JP. My opinion to use Tangent without seed phrases. So the only way someone to steal your card is they need to get a hands on your cards. True. But do you not have any other apps? Do you not have your Binance app, Crypto.com app, Coinbase app, Trust Wallet app on your phones? And JP, see tomorrow, but sometimes as usual. It's for everything. It's not just for that. It's for everything. Now, with 1 week left to the interest rate decision, Deutsche Bank critical warning came. May not be as expected. So Deutsche Bank has decided to warn everyone inside the market space. Sorry, everyone. Recent estimates of rate cuts have sent US Treasury price significantly higher, but Deutsche Bank AG's private banking arm is warning investors to brace for increased volatility inside the market space. Deutsche Bank is telling everybody to brace themselves for something is about to be happening inside the market space. The warning came as the bank suggested US policymakers may not ease as aggressively as traders expect. The Fed is expected to begin its rate cutting cycle next week. According to Stephanie, the Chief Investment Officer for Asia Pacific at Deutsche Bank in Singapore, the bank is forecasting a total of 6 rate cuts through September 2025, but that is far less than roughly 9 rate cuts investors had expected and could cause market turbulence if the mispricing continues. The debate over how much the Fed will cut the interest rates has had significant impact on the US government bond market. Benchmark yields have fallen for 4 consecutive months, marking the longest decline in 3 years. This upward trend could pave the way for a sharp market correlation if investors' expectations are too optimistic compared to the Fed's actual policy decisions. Deutsche Bank's private banking division has a track record of making accurate predictions in this area. This is why this is vital information. Deutsche Bank private banking division has a track record of making accurate predictions in this area. Last year, correctly predicted that the Federal Reserve would delay lowering borrowing costs. Last year, the predictions from Deutsche Bank were correct on the market space. Essentially, the Federal Reserve would delay lowering borrowing costs, a stance that was considered at the time that nobody saw coming except Deutsche Bank. Growing fears of potential US recessions, in other words. The bank also predicted that the benchmark US Treasury yield would reach 4.2% by the end of 2023, a level it reached last December. This is what they said. The market needs to be repriced, and of course, there will be volatility as a result of that, said Jen, the chief officer at this bank. In the recent interview, he added also that the US economy is on a solid footing, especially from a consumer perspective, and he thinks that stability can continue, but there could be a downside. Now, the downside they're expecting is, okay, for a while now, regarding this whole recession topic that keeps on coming out of the US, which the US is going to a recession, rate cuts, major rate cuts and so on. I said we can't go into a recession because we're going into voting season. Because if we go into a recession while Kamala is trying to become president or Donald Trump is trying to become president, if we go into a recession, it makes Donald Trump look good, which is excellent. But if we go into a recession, it makes Kamala look bad because her administration, her being a part of Biden administration and the US goes into a recession during voting time makes no sense, which makes their party look bad. Now, in terms of stretching the numbers, they can stretch the numbers as long as they want until that bubble bursts. I said after voting season is done, we can go into a recession. A recession is possible after the voting season is done. Whoever's chosen as next president, we can slid into a recession. It's possible. But during voting season, it's not possible. This is why Deutsche Bank, I said this about a month ago. Deutsche Bank today has said that, basically what I said, that we're heading towards some sort of a heavy bubble bursting recession. But it's not going to be now. It's going to be happening pretty much beginning times of 2025. We're going a little bit more into 2025. Middle of 2025, for example. In general, 2025 is when the recession, volatility, and so on is going to be expected, which means voting season is done, and whoever's chosen the next president, and so on, and then we go into bubble bursting mode. And in terms of regarding stretching numbers out, they can, because in 2008, when we had that massive market crash, Moody's was the rating agency that gave Wall Street and the banks the clear. Moody's said the economy in the US is doing excellent, and we had the 2008 crash. So in terms of playing around with the numbers when it comes to Wall Street and the banks, they play around with the numbers when it suits them well. But that bubble will burst eventually if they play around too much with the numbers, which is exactly what happened. A lot of people were betting against the banks, that the banks are going to be going sidelining south completely. And then Moody's comes out with a report and says Wall Street is doing excellent, the banks are doing excellent, and the people that were hedging against the banks, essentially the banks are going to fail, were about to be losing essentially their collateral because of Moody's misrepresentation of the numbers on purpose. And then the 2008 crash happens, and then the banks have to pay out the people that are betting against them. But in terms of playing around with the numbers, they do that a lot, actually. Looking ahead, Deutsche Bank expects the yield on a 10-year Treasury notes to rise 4.05% by September next year, from 3.63% now. The bank also predicts the U.S. economy will avoid some sort of a recession now, matching the median estimate in Bloomberg's survey that the yield will reach a 3.73% by the end of the third quarter of 2025. Deutsche Bank has predicted both sides, but they've also predicted some sort of a timeline. Right now, no recession for the United States. Next year, if we have some sort of a heavy rate cut scenario going on and the bubble bursting, we could be heading towards some sort of recession inside the United States. But it also does depend on one major factor. Not even joking about this one, Trump. If Trump comes into play, then he can avoid a recession. The US can genuinely, and I'm genuinely saying this, if Trump is chosen as the next president of the United States, the United States can actually essentially avoid a recession. Only if Trump is chosen. If Kamala is chosen, the US will be heading towards a massive bubble burst. Because you can see the damage Joe Biden and Kamala have done so far. And all that damage is going to lead to some sort of a bubble bursting somewhere down the line. But there is one man that can change and put the US on the right track and not put it in recession mode. What does that mean for crypto now? For crypto purposes, if we go into a recession, people who have money will hedge against that. People who see that coming. Now, some people might not see that coming for a while, but as we get closer to a bubble bursting, some Wall Street heads and bankers and even some retail section people will start getting hints. Okay, maybe we are headed towards maybe we are heading towards a recession. The heavier the rate cuts, the indication of we're going to go to a recession. The lower the rate cuts, so small rate cuts, then we're not going towards a recession. If we have heavy rate cuts, then we're going to a recession. So if we have small rate cuts, then the market will be balanced moving forward. If we have heavy rate cuts, then we're heading towards a recession. That means that people can start hedging against traditional assets on the crypto space, which is a positive for the crypto space. Because we're heading to a recession, that means you can hedge against that recession before it hits you in the crypto space, because traditional assets will be damaged quite bad. Now, gold could be good in that sense and so on, but also crypto assets will be better as well. So that's what it means for the crypto space. Positive is what it means. If we go to a recession and people can see that recession coming before it happens, then people will start hedging against that inflation. But if the recession hits people like a wall, then most people won't see it coming, which means they won't have any money to spend on the crypto markets, which means the stock market will go, crypto market will go, everything will go. If people don't see it coming, it just hits them like a wall. If people see it coming, step by step, then people go start hedging against the inflation. And when the inflation hits them, they've already hedged against it, crypto market's doing better, and so on. But if nobody sees the recession, if it do have heavy rate cuts coming, and it just hits people with like a wall, then nobody has any money to spend, and every single market space just goes. Unless people have money stored somewhere, if you have humongous cash reserves stored somewhere, you are going to make a killing on the money, on profits, not financial advice in any sort of way. But if I have any sort of heavy money stored somewhere, cash money or whatever, fiat money, and that happens, and it hits me like a wall, for example, and nobody sees it coming, it hits everybody like a wall, recession, then if I have cash reserves of fiat money laying around, I'm in the money because I'm buying everything dirt cheap. If it hits me and I don't see it coming, I can buy everything dirt cheap. If I see it coming, I'll start hedging against it. But positive. Depends on how people play it out. It genuinely depends on how people play it out. If it hits people like a wall, nobody will see it coming, and only people who have money will profit. If people see it coming step by step, then everybody can start hedging against it, which will be a positive for the crypto space. But it all depends on how big the rate cuts are. It all depends on who's the next president. What does that mean for if the bubble bursts in the US, will it affect the rest of the world? Yes. Regarding, if a bubble bursts inside the United States, will it affect the rest of the world? Well, let me just put it to you this way. China had one real estate company. China had one real estate company burst. And that one real estate company took down the stock market and the crypto market with it. And that was one company from China. If the US bubble burst, imagine the repercussions on the market space, in the world market space. As the Bank of International Settlements put it, very simply, if the American markets sneeze, the world market catches a cold. So keep that under consideration. But again, there are ways for that not to happen. I mean, this is a perspective coming from Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank has said that the US can avoid a recession. It just depends on how aggressive the rate cuts are going to be. And Deutsche Bank has been correct on market movements before. And they have evidence on being correct on the market space before. So they have said if they're too aggressive, then we're heading towards a recession, that bubble's about to burst. It's not going to be happening this year in any sort of a way. It's going to be happening after the elections are done and more time has passed, and then that bubble will burst, depending on how aggressive the rate cuts are going to be. Which is perfectly put what Shelly has put inside the comment section. Shelly put, maybe that's what Warren Buffett is thinking. Warren Buffett started selling quite a lot of his assets. Warren Buffett pulled out a lot. And Warren Buffett has a humongous cash reserve right now. Warren Buffett pulled out his positions in Apple. The majority of his positions he pulled out from Apple, some other major firms. He has a humongous cash reserve right now ready for a scenario like that. Perfect timing with Warren Buffett, Shelly. A while ago, about a month ago, it was all over the news. Warren Buffett is selling his position on Apple, selling his position on this company, that company. He has millions and millions, a humongous cash reserve ready for purchase for anything. Now, moving on from Deutsche Bank's perspective on the market space to Congress. Something major happened yesterday. Two major things happened yesterday. One was One was Trump versus Kamala. The other one was Congress. everybody was paying attention to Trump versus Kamala, which I fully understand because I watched that whole debate as well. I was paying attention to Trump versus Kamala as well. But at the same time, I did tell people that the first date for the US House to come together to talk about the crypto space was yesterday as well. So we are about to go through the notes and bullet points of what the US Congress has talked about. The first meeting the US Congress has had was yesterday, and they talked about DeFi space. The second meeting is coming up as well. They're going to be talking about Gary Gensler's role inside the crypto space. The third meeting is also coming up as well. It's all this month. The third meeting is also coming up with 4 commissioners, and the entire House US committee is going to be there as well. And they're going to be discussing who should have which role inside the crypto space inside the United States. Should the CFTC Rostam Benham, he's going to be there as well. The CFTC chairman Rostam Benham, he's going to be there. SEC chairman Gary Gensler is going to be there, and 2 other commissioners. And the entire US House committee is going to decide who should have what role to play in. The first meeting was yesterday, and they talked about DeFi. So let's talk about that first. Congress battles over DeFi. Yesterday, the first ever congressional hearing in decentralized finance took place, marking an important moment inside the evolution of this technology in the United States. Titled Decoding DeFi, Breaking Down the Future of Decentralized Finance. The hearing was led by Congressman French Hill and lasted nearly 2.5 hours. US lawmakers gathered to discuss both the potential benefits and risks that DeFi could introduce to the financial system inside the United States. The hearing exposed a clear divide among lawmakers. Republicans, led by Hill, were optimistic about DeFi's ability to remove intermediaries and transform financial markets. As Hill stated, by substituting intermediaries for autonomous, self-executing code, decentralized finance could shift the way financial markets and transactions are currently structured and governed. Meanwhile, Democratic lawmakers raised concerns, focusing on DeFi potential misuse, particularly its role in enabling criminal activity. While Republicans called for lighter regulations on DeFi space, Democrats advocated for stricter oversight, citing the risk of illicit use. What does this hearing mean for the future of DeFi and the broader crypto market space, especially for the US presidential election approaching? A clash of perspectives on DeFi. The hearing itself turned into a battlefield of opinions and sharp contrast in how lawmakers viewed DeFi. The subcommittee chair Hill kicked things off with the discussion by focusing on the opportunities DeFi and tokenizations could offer to finance inside the United States. However, not everyone saw it that way. Congressman Brad Sherman, a Democratic from California, took a more critical approach. He expressed concerns that DeFi might be nothing more than a tool for tax evasion, especially for the ultra-wealthy. What we have here is the effort to liberate billions from income taxation every time a billionaire successfully cheats on his taxes. A member of the Freedom Cause earns his wings. In response to Sherman's concerns, Peter Van, the director of research at Coin Center, provided a counter-argument. He acknowledged that tax evasion is a crime, but pointed out that DeFi's transparent decentralized ledger makes it difficult for bad actors to hide their activities. Tax evasion is a crime. It should be aggressively policed. I do not, however, think that tax evasion and its existence warrants are 100% surveillance and controlled financial systems. Van also pointed out that confusion surrounding tax guidance from the IRS. He argued that many crypto users want to comply with tax laws, but a lack of clear instructions on how to do so. A difficult area inside the crypto space has been getting tax guidance from IRS on how Americans can pay their taxes when they earn capital gains or perhaps their wages on these networks. He added that the crimes are more likely to use traditional financial systems to hide illicit funds rather than transparent blockchain networks. On the other side, Mark Hayes, senior policy analyst at Americans for Financial Reform, painted DeFi in a more favorable light. He described the space as a volatile and rife with scams where investors often face devastating losses. Hayes stressed that DeFi should not get a free pass and that existing security laws should apply to decentralized systems to protect investors. Meanwhile, Amanda, the chief legal officer at DeFi Education Fund, took a different approach. She highlighted the DeFi's potential to essentially democratize the finance. According to Terminal, traditional financial systems rely on intermediaries, often acting as gatekeepers. Big banks can and do deny access to systems for discriminatory reasons or no reasons. She stated, contrasting this with DeFi's open access nature, she suggested that anyone from an internet connection can use DeFi, calling it the ultimate financial space. Her argument was essentially that some banks do discriminate against certain people. Banks can discriminate against people. Banks can also restrict your access. For example, here's one thing that DeFi is a massive positive on, and that the traditional banking system is trash. Sometimes a bank will ask you, why are you sending this money? And even though it's your money, you worked hard for that money, the bank will not let you send your own money to your family member, for example, or if you're trying to buy something. Sometimes the bank will restrict access to your accounts. Sometimes no purpose intended, or sometimes they will not let you do certain transactions or pull your money out of the bank. With DeFi, you don't have any of these issues because there is no middleman. All you need is an internet access and a wallet, and there is no middleman to tell you why are you spending your money on this, who are you sending it to, why are you sending, and so on. There's no these issues in DeFi space, and nobody can freeze your account. Nobody can say you can't have access to your account because of this and this, or so on. It's your money, your rules on DeFi. And the banking system was not a big fan of that method of your money, your rules. The bank likes it as their money, their rules, even though it's your money. They argued that treating DeFi as a traditional finance is not the right approach, which is facts. You need to have regulations in place. As the underlying structures are fundamentally different, she suggested that the regulations should take into account the self-custodial nature and transaction autonomy of decentralized systems. That's, we need to have new regulations in place. So, as far as we know of where essentially the US Congress stands on crypto DeFi space, the first ever DeFi meeting in Congress, where does everybody stand? Republicans are pro DeFi. Democrats are negative on DeFi. Democrats are in favor of traditional financial systems, and if DeFi wants to operate, then it needs to operate within the traditional laws we have already. Even though if their tiny little brains understood that the regulations we already have in place do not comply with blockchain technology. But obviously their tiny little brains can't comprehend that. The Republicans, on the other hand, understand that old regulations, old banking regulations don't apply to new technology, and we need to have new regulations in place. So there's a massive divide going on inside the United States. This is the reason, this is the issue when you have too many politicians. Genuinely, this is a big issue when you have too many politicians. I've said this a while ago, every country has a set of politicians, and it's pretty much, the order comes in and it's green lighted and it's good to go. The US, it has too many politicians. You don't need that many politicians. And to be very honest, they're all doing a very poor job at trying to keep the economy well and up and running. I mean, prices are through the roof, inflation is through the roof, and you have that many people as politicians. It's not a good look. So, and the issue is, another big issue is, you need too many green lights, okay? You need too many people to say yes to something before anything happens. And that's a big issue, because if you have a large group of people and they're all going to be divided on everything, nothing will ever pass, which is a big issue. So here's the thing. If Trump becomes president, maybe cut down on the amount of politicians. El Salvador did a great job. He said when he comes into power, he's going to get rid of a magnitude list of politicians that do absolutely nothing and provide absolutely nothing to the public. He came into power, and he removed a list of politicians that did nothing just eating from taxpayers' money. I think Trump should do that as well. If he comes into power, he becomes president, just get rid of a multitude list of politicians, because you're just feeding too many mouths that are always divided on every topic. And it's very difficult to get anything green lighted when you have a large group of people that have to give a yes or no. Have a group of people, but not that many politicians. And especially all of those politicians have zero clue of what blockchain technology is. Maybe, out of the thousands, there are 10 people that understand what blockchain technology is. The rest have zero clue. The rest are just doing what they're told to do by somebody else. You see? But when you cut down the amount of morons, the politicians, and you have a core group of politicians who understand innovation, who understand bringing and creating a better economy, you can move forward much more faster as an economy. So I would recommend that for US Congress, because their first meeting regarding DeFi and so on was extremely divided. Republicans want, green light, innovation, regulations. Let's move forward. Let's make the US great again. In other words, Trump's words. The Democrats don't want any sort of innovation inside the United States at all. They see crypto as scams till today still, even though 1% of crypto transactions are actually used for scams purposes, for illicit activities. 1% is only used for illicit activities. That's according to Arkham Intelligence and Chain Analysis. On the other hand, cash money is widely used for money laundering, widely used for illicit, essentially very widely used for illicit activities. So in their words, the US dollar should be banned, British pounds should be banned, the EU, essentially the euro, euros should be banned, and every fiat currency should be banned, because there are more crimes committed on fiat currencies than there ever is inside the crypto space. So the argument that the crypto space is full of illicit activities is rubbish. It's a very useless argument with no such sort of evidence or backing behind it. And the evidence that we do have is 1% compared to the fiat money laundering issues, the fiat illicit activity issues. Let's not forget, cryptocurrencies aren't funding wars. Fiat is. Let's not forget, cryptocurrencies aren't causing inflation. Fiat is. So the argument that Democrats or some politicians are still using till this day of, illicit activities is pure rubbish. Absolute pure rubbish. It's the printing too much of fiat and using for illicit activities is the main issue, not cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies have been used for illicit activities, as I said, 1%. They have funded some certain wars, but not to the extent of fiat in any sort of a way at all. They have been used for the same purposes, but where 1% compared to the other 70% of fiat currencies being used around the world for illicit activities is nowhere near it. Now, moving on to the next news. Moving on from the Congress news, which the first meeting went all over the place. Ripple is the next news we're going to talk about. But that all over the place can be fixed with Trump. If Kamala gets chosen, oh, God help America. Genuinely, if Kamala gets chosen as the next president of the United States, genuinely mean it, God help America. Now, next news on tonight's live show is regarding Ripple. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. If price goes down, I go long. If price goes up, I'm rich. Let's go. Rate cuts in next week, 17, I think. Let's see where I was inside the conversation. I was here. If the bubble burst, yeah. I was just typing. Well, what does that mean for crypto then? Maybe that's what Warren Buffett is thinking. Yeah. Do you think the BRIC system will use XRP in the future? Ripple is a part of the Bank of International Settlements, which the Bank of International Settlements is the banks of all centralized banks, 63 centralized banks. So it's a part of it. So for us poor people, better to stop buying crypto and stock up on fiat or stablecoin? No. I wouldn't say that in any sort of a way, because it's just one outcome. regarding Deutsche Bank is one, yes, they have been correct in the past, but they can be wrong in the future. But consider one outcome. Consider that as one outcome, not the outcome. Multiple outcomes is better always to consider. Apple is not doing very good right now. The last iPhone 16 releases was a flop. Yeah, iPhone 16 was an absolute flop. I needed a new phone, and when I saw the iPhone 16, no, waste of money. I'll just keep my iPhone. I'm basically paying all that money for a new iPhone with ChatGPT. It's a free app. I don't understand Apple's innovation. They're calling it Apple Intelligence. I'm buying the same iPhone, little bit faster, with a ChatGPT app. I can just use my own iPhone with a ChatGPT app. What's the difference? Apple fell off big time. And I'm an iPhone user as well. I'm recording on an iPhone right now. Apple fell off, in my opinion, big time. Their biggest achievement was ChatGPT on a phone. Apple was supposed to be known as the innovator of innovations and so on. But they created the same iPhone a little bit faster with a ChatGPT capability. I have already an iPhone with ChatGPT on it. There's no difference with the new phone. But yeah, they fell off big time. But what's the point? Warren Buffett is so old, he might not wake up tomorrow morning. So what's the point of him selling and buying all this stress? He's a billionaire. Why need more money? Greed is the issue with Chilzone. Greed is the issue with a lot of people. Recession basically means rich gets richer and poor gets poorer. Whilst it lasts? Yeah. Did you already speak about Ripple and small contracts? Oops. Just about to know on the XRP ledger. Good night, brother Miles, and the rest of the CMF family. Thank you, brother. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. I talked about the XRP ledger and smart contracts yesterday, and I said that those types of capabilities are heading towards Ripple in 2025. Now, because Ripple's main purpose was to create the XRP ledger for payment services only, not for those types of services, but they're going to be introducing those types of services in 2025, is what I revealed yesterday regarding smart contract capabilities. Now, Ripple partners with Digital Euro Association for Euro CBDC. Ripple has partnered with the Digital Euro Association, DEA, a Frankfurt-based company specializing in CBDCs, stablecoins, and crypto assets, to jointly work on central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. This collaboration marks a significant step in Ripple's expanding role in the crypto ecosystem. Digital euro testing on the XRP ledger. The digital euro is currently being tested on the XRP ledgers, private XRP ledger net, a major development that highlights the blockchain's growing widespread relevance. David Schwartz, XRP's chief technology officer, stated, "The XRP price on the private ledger will be reflected on the public ledger once everything is fully tested. This integration between the private and public ledgers will ensure price consistency and hassle-free interoperability. This also showcases Ripple's potential as a robust infrastructure provider for CBDCs." So right now, it is being tested, the euros. The euro CBDC is being tested on the XRP ledger. XRP ledger has achieved 1,500 transactions per second TPS in 2022, which is a little less than that of Visa's 1,700 TPS, but close enough to compete. Although the future TPS for XRP is unknown, these digital euro tests could be a way towards improvements. With future TPS of 200,000 for the Chinese yuan CBDC, with Alipay operating a 500,000 TPS, Ripple might improve its infrastructure to stay ahead of the competition. James Wallace, VP of Central Bank Engagements at XRP, and Jones Gross, the chairman of Digital Euro Association, both expressed their excitements about combining expertise and resources to create a stronger digital currency in the future. What does this mean for Ripple? XRP's involvements in the CBDC development, along with projects like Bhutan Central Bank and now the DEA, highlights its efforts to become the leading blockchain solution provider for the crypto markets. If this integration is successful, it could serve as a powerful platform for XRP to endorse itself in the blockchain community and attract other banks for CBDC collaborations. By combining Ripple's technology and the DEA's leadership, the collaboration aims to provide a robust, secure, and scalable platform for digital currencies for the public and private sectors. So Ripple and the Digital Euro Association for Euro CBDCs testings are going on right now on the XRP ledger for Euro CBDCs, on the private XRP ledger, which then once testing is passed and is successful, it will be connected on the XRP ledger that we use. Everybody else uses the public ledger. Prices will match the private and public. We can't have two prices on public, one price on public, one price on private. Otherwise, people will just buy on the public for very cheap and sell it through arbitrary on the private one. So everything, all the testing is obviously going on behind the scenes, and when everything is ready to launch, it will be on the public XRP ledger, which then the price will match, in the words of David Schwartz. But that's amazing. As I said, very long time ago, I've also said multiple times, 98% of centralized banks are CBDCs and 24,000 crypto projects plus, and there's only one project heavily in CBDCs, has a CBDC active platform, worked alongside banks to develop themselves, has multiple CBDC awards, multiple attendance at World Economic Forum events, made massive speeches on CBDCs with those rich folks, International Monetary Fund, Bank of International Settlements, and Monetary Authority of Singapore. And the list just goes on in terms of licensing and acquiring new companies and attending places that you should be attending in that sort of category, having multiple awards and CBDCs. 90% of centralized banks on CBDCs, and Ripple is taking that rank, which is something that a lot of people, walk past. When somebody ever mentions Ripple inside the crypto space, everybody goes, scam coin, never going to make it, it's never going to be possible. But the facts will state otherwise. 98% of centralized banks in CBDCs and 24,000 crypto projects. There's one crypto project since day one designed for the purpose of CBDCs, has an active CBDC platform that's being used, won multiple CBDC awards, and you see zero correlation there. 90% of centralized banks and CBDCs, zero correlation. Even though Ripple is actually listed on the PDF document titled Cross-Border Payments on the Bank of International Settlements website. The banks are all centralized banks, 63 centralized banks. It's a bit odd how people see past that. Very, very odd. But yet again, not everybody's supposed to become wealthy in life. Some people, are supposed to stay where they are. Because some people make correct choices inside any sort of situations in life. And some people make bad choices and then they learn from their bad choices to never do that again. The issue with this particular choice is if you get left behind from what's about to be happening next, which is you getting left behind and stuck on CBDCs, it's going to be a very bumpy ride for you. The chances of you trying to rectify that mistake, you're going to have to be moving mountains to rectify that mistake. Because typically in life, you make a mistake, you rectify it and move forward. This mistake, getting left behind, you're going to have to move in mountains to rectify this mistake if you get left behind from Ripple. Now, and again, it's not overnight, it's over time. You've got to realize that as well. But that's amazing news coming out of the EU regarding Ripple. Testing is already happening. Now, also moving on from the Ripple news to something that has relevance to the Ripple news as well, but coming out of the UAE. The UAE's RAK Bank goes live with CBDCs. Executes China essentially in exchange for digital dirhams. China's yuan for digital dirhams, CBDCs. It goes live, RAK Bank goes live in the UAE. The National Bank of Ras Al Khaimah, also known as RAK Bank, has become one of the first banks inside the United Arab Emirates to successfully execute an international remittance using Chinese digital yuan in exchange for digital dirhams, the UAE's CBDC. The announcement comes as all countries over the world are studying and testing the launch of central bank digital currency CBDCs. Because of their transformative potential revolutionizing cross-border payments in real time with enhanced transparency and reduced costs. According to the firm, RAK Bank is now one of the first banks globally to be a part of a live CBDC platform and is ready to transact. Mbridge, a DLT-powered multi-central bank digital currency platform, the live trade of digital yuan against the dirham took place as a part of a project Mbridge from the Bank of International Settlements, an initiative aimed at addressing inefficiencies in cross-border payments by developing a multi-central bank digital currency platform built on distributed ledger technology. Launched back in 2021, mBridge is a collaborative effort between the Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates and the Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub and the Bank of Thailand and the Digital Currency Institution of the People's Bank of China and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. These are the central banks involved. mBridge also participating central commercial banks to conduct real-time peer-to-peer cross-border payments and foreign exchange transactions. The mBridge Ledger, a new blockchain, underpins the platform supporting secure and essentially transactions. A game changer in several respects. Ahmed, the group CEO of Rakbank, said the participation of Rakbank in the mBridge platform and the execution of our first ever central bank digital currency international payment highlights Rakbank's cutting-edge digital capabilities. This milestone reflects our commitment to breaking boundaries and solidifying our position as a leading retail and commercial bank in the UAE. With a rapidly expanding international payments arm, the co-head of wholesale banking group of Rakbank also made a comment, Vikas. He commented that the successful transfer of digital yuans to our correspondents in China is a game changer in several respects. It's one of the first UAE-led foreign currency transfers executed in local currencies without involving a third-party currency to China and without using conventional payment rails. This game changer that paves the way for instant blockchain-based CBDC exchanges with payment versus payments, fundamentally altering how we approach international payments. Our next step will be to focus on supporting the China and UAE business corridor for our clients by leveraging mBridge to reduce costs and improve the speed of remittances. Rakbank partnered with Bitpanda for digital asset infrastructure. Are you starting to catch on? Are you starting to catch on of what's going on? Bank of International Settlements, Ripple, cross-border payments, PDF documentation, public documentation, Ripple's on the list for cross-border payments, Bank of International Settlements. Rakbank is a partner of Ripple since 2018. And Bitpanda is also a partner of Ripple that Ripple uses to spread their XRP to institutions. And Rakbank is also a partner of Bitpanda. It's one big loop. Rakbank partnered with Bitpanda for digital asset infrastructure. Ironically, it's what the category of Ripple partnerships with them with Bitpanda too. Rakbank recently tapped into Bitpanda's technology solutions, BTS, to provide robust platform for managing digital assets inside the United Arab Emirates. BTS is a leading digital asset infrastructure provider that recently entered the Middle East and North African regions by opening offices in Dubai and launching Bitpanda MENA. MENA is also a part of Ripple as well. Africa essentially was what Ripple announced essentially in the UAE announcements of blockchain events. Ripple announced that they've partnered essentially with MENA in Africa regarding expanding their range. Ironically, Bitpanda, that's also a partner of Ripple that uses essentially Ripple's technology, is also a partner of MENA and now a partner of Rakbank, is providing them infrastructure, asset infrastructure platforms, which is ironically what they develop with Ripple. BTS is a leading digital asset infrastructure provider that recently entered the Middle East and North Africa regions by opening offices in Dubai and launching Bitpanda MENA. Bitpanda MENA opened its first office in Dubai at the DMCC Crypto Center and has essentially already appointed an experienced team led by Walid to tailor its offerings to local markets in line with its long history of regulatory compliance. Bitpanda is in the final stages of obtaining its FSP and will continue to work with local regulators to ensure a fully compliant product offering. BTS allows its business partners, to integrate a module and scaled 24/7 trading infrastructure and offer trading, investing, and custody service access every asset class in a modular way. Ripple, Metico, and IBM developed a cold storage wallet for institutional use with HSBC alongside them. And then they partnered essentially with Bitpanda. And Bitpanda has this cold storage facility, for example, that's only for institutional purposes. And it's the most securest wallet you can possibly have on the planet for a digital asset. And they're providing these services. So infrastructure and offering trading, investment, trading, and custody service across every asset class in a modular way. Partners can build their own user experience on the ISO 2701 certified and battle-proofed infrastructure, including features such as savings plans, asset-to-asset swaps, and crypto staking functionalities. Additionally, all Bitpanda's European licenses and regulatory experiences can be accessed through a partnership with most comprehensive and regulated crypto platforms in Europe. When fully launched, Rackbank customers will be able to pursue various digital asset use cases and settle with payment tokens safely and securely, unlocking one of the most complete offerings available in the UAE market. This is, however, subject to the CBO approval. The provision of the service is contingent to upon Bitpanda's broker MENA DMCC receiving operational approval and a license from Vera, as well as Rackbank obtaining necessary approvals from the UAE authorities. So that was just announced today as well, regarding Rackbank essentially doing their first ever CBDC payments, going live with CBDC payments, doing CBDC payments with China. Rackbank being in the EU, a partner of Ripple since 2017, utilizing their technology. They partnered with Bitpanda. Rackbank then partnered with Bitpanda later on, which is also a partner of Ripple, Bitpanda. And Bitpanda is providing some sort of storage services to all these institutions and these banks, which ironically Ripple and Metaco and essentially HSBC and IBM partnered together to make this cold storage wallet, and for industrial and institutional use essentially, which is the safest wallet on this planet. And that's being utilized now. Bitpanda is also a partner of a few other banks like Deutsche Bank and so on. And those banks could have partnered, as I said previously, with Binance. They could have partnered with Crypto.com, Kraken. They're much more bigger exchanges, but they partnered with Bitpanda for a specific reason. And in their own words, the bank's words was the reason why they partnered with Bitpanda. It was the best choice for them. The best choice for them in terms of, as an exchange. But, Coinbase is a much more bigger exchange. Binance is a much more bigger exchange. They have much more facilities going on, much more string access. But the thing is, whoever partners with Bitpanda, they have just basically opened the door towards Ripple. Ripple is basically think of it as, one of these old school, essentially pulling the strings type of scenarios. There's a puppet and somebody's pulling the strings. Bitpanda in this scenario is the puppet and Ripple's basically pulling the strings. Whoever partners with Bitpanda is a open door towards Ripple. So that's what was also announced today as well on the UAE and Rackbank. We've also come to the endings of tonight's live show as well. If you enjoyed this live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night. This is called the CMF Live Show. It stands for Crypto Mouse Family. This was episode 153 of the CMF Live Show. You can tune into this live show every single night at 11:25 or 11:30 UK time on X Live or on YouTube Live. We are live on both of them as we are every night. And you can get involved inside the comment section by tuning to this live show. I talk about the most recent things that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations. We also do Q&As as well, which I love doing. I love when everybody joins inside the Q&A. And on the topics of tonight, we talked about Rackbank essentially going live for the first time ever on CBDC payments, which is a milestone for the UAE. We talked about Ripple's partnership with the Digital Euro Association for Euro CBDCs, right now being tested on the XRP Ledger, private ledger. We also talked about just major news, genuinely major news. We also talked about essentially the US Congress and where they stand so far on their first ever DeFi meeting. We went through news topics on Deutsche Bank, warning everybody they have been right in their predictions before. I also read news regarding Sony and blockchain has just went live on their testnet. Early developers on Sony's blockchain, Sonium, can get an airdrop from Sony tokens coming on their fourth part of their roadmap. I talked about, and I laid out the step-by-step, so if you want to know the step-by-step, rewatch this live show. I talked about McAfee essentially alerting everybody about new scams and not to fall for them. I talked about the top 20 countries in 2024 that essentially have advanced, so how far they've advanced inside the crypto space so far. I also went through news regarding Ford and Toyota entering inside the blockchain space. They filed 43 filing patents have been done by Ford and Toyota so far, and they're all related to blockchain, which is amazing. We also talked about on tonight's live show regarding Singapore in terms of their stablecoin transactions. Globally, they've pretty much reached $1 billion in stablecoin transactions. I always went through news regarding Grayscale Sui Trust for accredited investors, which is massive news for Sui. I also went through news regarding China's digital yuan surpassing $1 trillion in CBDC payments, which is a milestone for China. I also talked about the founders of Gemini essentially backing John Deaton with $1 million, but also Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren, accusing the Gemini founders for creating fake campaigns against them. I said nobody needs to create a fake campaign against Senator Elizabeth Warren. She already does a poor job by herself, and she tarnishes her own name. Nobody needs to do that for her. I also talked about the Fed interest rate cuts regarding the cryptocurrency impact and how can Fed rate cuts impact the cryptocurrency space moving forward, essentially. I also went through news topics regarding the UK passing legislations. We went into detail about those legislations, the MICA legislations as well. We had more details about them as well. So we talked about an immense amount of news, a lot of milestone news, a lot of amazing news as well. We have from tonight's live show, a lot of legislation news, a lot of progress news, and bank perspective news, and bank announcement news, and Ripple announcement news. So if you enjoyed tonight's live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night. Subscribe if you already haven't and you're watching this on YouTube. If you're not following me on X and you're enjoying this live show, follow me on X. Tune in every single night. You get involved inside the comment section as well. Everybody's absolutely amazing. You know, this is the CMF live show. CMF stands for Crypto Miles Family, which anybody's more than welcome to join. It's completely free, by the way. I've been doing this live show for almost 2 years now, every single night, and I don't charge any sort of money, and I never will charge money. Everything I provide is completely free of source. I have my own money, so I don't need, so I basically I don't do that. So we also have our own Telegram group as well, which anybody's more than welcome to join the Telegram group of this live show as well. Everybody's absolutely amazing. The link is on X. The link is on YouTube if you watch us on YouTube. The link is also on X if you watch us on X. If you enjoyed this live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night. We have come to the end of tonight's live show. And once again, JP, if you're still around, thank you so much for the $400 donation on tonight's live show. That's going straight towards the CMF hedge fund, which is absolutely amazing. So once again, JP, if you're still on live, if you haven't left or you came back, thanks again for the $400 donation on tonight's live show on YouTube, which is going to go straight for benefiting CMF members, which is absolutely amazing. So, good night, Brother Miles, and the rest of the CMF family. From the see tomorrow sometimes as usual. Thank you. I will check yesterday's live. I was out listening and I missed it. From G. Night, Miles. Pablo, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. It's time to turn off my CMF TV. Many thanks, Miles. Let's go, Carl. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Thanks, Miles. Have a good night and day, CMF. Orphan, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Carol, good night, Miles and CMF. See you tomorrow same time as usual. Thank you, Miles and CMF. See you tomorrow. Take care. Mike, see you tomorrow same time as usual. Thanks, Miles, and good night. George, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Thanks, Miles. Get some rest. Good day and night, CMF. Shelly, see you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. Thanks so much, Miles. Have a good evening. Good night, CMF. Stormy, see you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. I will see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, see you tomorrow, same time as usual.